Okay, hi, we're on the seaside. This is painting number 2. Yesterday I did a silent painting because it was late in the night, and this time I have option to paint in the daytime. I already seen the seaside and it was wonderful, and now we are back in my apartment where I will try to create a new concept painting in regards to the topic of universal forces, unseen forces, which I try to show energy that animates the all living and non-living beings. And because it's an energy that is like constant and moving all the time and doesn't have a particular form yet, I'm working with the yellow monochromatic color scale. Okay, I'm beginning my process as usual with an undercoat of painting, just to make sure that it is relaxed beginning. That doesn't cost me much of trouble in terms of making a first mark. This painting gonna be a little bit easier for me as I'm going to be more abstract with it than ever. I mean, how could you be more abstract when you see me painting? It's definitely a little bit of a mysterious fun. Will be the next abstract that I'm working on. And this one, it's gonna be more about big layers of paint that are textured on top of each other, whereas smooth fluid marks of a paint. They're much more thick and more kind of a centralized, like small dots of a paint. I mean, dots maybe it's not the right word, but small compounds of the paint in different places of the painting. So before I was talking a little bit about this blooming, how the flower blooms, and this is something similar. I did that concept before, but it will be even more and more textured. So I'm choosing a small concept format because I want to let myself cover a painting with a thicker amount without being worried about using too much paint unnecessarily. I mean unnecessarily because it can go in a different direction in terms of like how good it's gonna look like. I'm currently working with primarily 3 colors, which is burnt sienna, yellow, and white. Still need to figure out to which camera I need to talk, but more experience I will get, probably the better it will be also. Maybe I will try something different to talk about my experience here. I came to Seaside with my parents because it's important for me to build some memories together. And the first moment that I seen the sea was such a beautiful feeling. I think we all share that. Where we are thinking that we are at home. After traveling for 5 hours and watching the car passing by, to see something static like a sea, especially now. I don't know what is happening, but there was no much thing happening on the seaside, so you can see the straight, never-ending fluidity of the water, and it was beautiful. Makes me think also about the painting and approaching them, and energy that I would like to give to my paintings. This one's a little bit more like a more in the yellow tones. Obviously, it's not blue, but there's something funny about the seaside or ocean side, as a matter of fact, that it has a different hues to it. It's not just a blue thing. It has a dark, brighter tints. There are sometimes wind blows on it, and it changes the texture. And this is how I like to approach this painting, which is giving a way of this water and textures that are working on it. I need to take a small break because I have a rice cooking also, starting. Make sure that I'm not gonna burn it. Yeah. So coming back to the textures, you can see that I'm working with different tones. Just to start, but it's very low in contrast to each other because I want to determine contrast in the moment. Right now I have this underpaint, and I know that it's rather more process of building up and up and up and up. I mean, to the more surface, until you starting getting like this sculpture like relief, which is a three-dimensional way of working with a flat surface. Impasto is a technique which is about getting a heavier amounts of the paints and putting them inside of the painting and working with actually dry paint as a form of play of shadows, that they cast the shadows on other parts of the paint, and this three-dimensionality gives it a different impression than traditional, like for instance aquarelle painting, which is totally opposite of it. Okay, I think I have like the general sense of it. Now I had two ideas how to go about this painting, which is I could propose changing the tool to the oil pastels and working with big marks, or I can continue with the acrylics and starting layering bigger and bigger parts of the oil. Now, the upside of going with the acrylic is that I stay with the one medium and I can work with this thick brush rather than pastels I have here. So that's a good thing. And a downside also working on the pastels immediately is the fact that it creates a problem with not paint dry anymore. Especially when you start layering, like I'm layering right now, a thicker amounts of the paint. Obviously, the paint needs to dry faster. So the medium is going to fight each other. So if I will be patient, I actually let it sit probably. I'll build up some texture with acrylic and wait for it, and then use the oil pastels. One interesting part about this particle paint, which is one brand called Arteza, which I'm trying to see how they work. Apparently they have higher consistency, which is less diluted with the water, and that gives me the almost feeling of playing with a diluted, a little bit more oil painting. It's definitely fun. So really, you can hear the sounds of the chirping birds and beautiful trees in the foreground. I really like them. They dancing through the air with the grass beneath it. And the smell of air is really good. It's not too warm. It's not too cold. It's perfect. I really enjoy this one. Spain just doesn't force me to do anything, which is great. It's partly like a very lucky situation that the colors, source colors that I got from my tubes are matching the vibe that I'm going for. You know, um, it doesn't ask me to add hues of other tones. Kind of stay where I am, and that's okay. The 50 minutes mark, 60 minutes mark. which is okay timing. Remember, we don't want to spend too much time on one painting because it's a form of testing ourselves if we are able to think and feel quite impulsively. I mean, this is what I'm thinking right now, that my hypothesis is if you can really get into the zone quickly and feel the painting where it's going, you are much more likely to get a results that are right from the beginning, you know, like my intuition was like, that's what I want to do, this is how I want to do it. I'm not debating myself, I'm not let the painting sit, which is a different technique, you know, sit and observe. I'm just trying to really feel if the painting moves, you know, under the brush, if it holds against the spontaneous way of approaching it. You know, taking away, giving, taking, giving, taking, giving, taking. Give, take, take, give, take, take, give, take, take, give, take, take. Almost like a rhythm, like a music of painting. Give, 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 take, 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 take. Boom, boom, boom. Dish, 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 boom, boom. Focus. Good, good. I'm gonna give it a second, a little bit to dry. I'm thinking that I'm gonna use more tools idea behind the tools I want to use. I want to use some linear marks and some thicker paint marks, pastel marks. I'm moving in with the pastels. Interesting way to say it, to move in with pastels. Problem with a canvas that is a structured canvas is that all pastels are moving on them like on a very rough surface, and you kind of need to embrace it. You cannot just let it be something that you don't want to see on your painting, because it will drive you insane almost. So me, instead of like trying to find a way to criticize it, finding a way to embrace it, which is, I think, very fine approach for any type of conflict that arises between us and other parties. I'm also like trying to measure. I have a small thumbnail here, what I'm trying to do, and I know that with the palette knife and thicker paint, I will not be able to be as good as I intended to, and to reflect that inspiration there. But one thing I can do is to work with what I have, which is this kind of structure of the painting based on the already work that I did. It's totally fine to things to not work out again. It's fine to let it be what it is. So we already know that it is a lot. Can be more, or should it be less? Funny enough, I feel like getting into my grandma's paintings again. I don't feel like I'm making flowers, but it feels like I'm directed by this inspiration in my head somehow, conscious or not. They are all thickeners that you can buy. Sorry, the acrylic thickeners, and they allow you to really work with a thicker texture. And I think for this painting, I will deploy this type of approach. This is tremendous amount of a texture. That's needed in order for this painting to live as it's intended. It's beautiful. I'm working with so much texture that I actually needs to really grab the canvas that I'm working with, because it's, you know, doesn't really want to be gently pressed when I do those kind of techniques. So satisfying. I can only tell you that it's so satisfying to touch those parts of the painting in this way that, you know, you almost press the life in it. Like, let me show you. I'm grabbing this part. Let me just, I need to somehow remove myself from it. Taking this part, and I'm like finding a place to press it, like almost like a you know, this fucking thing that you sculpt from. Remember the name. Not clay, but the other one. Yeah, you can say clay actually. And you're like pressing the life in it, sculpting it. It's like feels really good to do that. I kind of want to explore that technique way more because I can sense its power. And it's almost resistance, but also willingness to bend into my need. Oh my god, so satisfying. Okay, I would like to say that I'm finished. I like where it is right now. I think more would be the results of adding more would be compromised by my need to then come back with another darker tint in order to start balancing it out again. And where we are right now, we have right amount of the light tones and right amount of darker tones and right amount of the middle tones, which gives us really nicely balanced transitions, and overall it gives us a really awesome impression of the painting, like kind of a finished impression. It felt really good to do this one. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, if not, well, it was a great exercise for me. I hope you guys and myself gonna have a great rest of the day.